Hello and welcome to Darziware software. Today we are going to see how to configure Darziware software to meet your business requirements. Darziware software is a web-based application which is suitable for tailoring businesses, those who are running on multiple branch model or multi-location model. It's cloud-based software. So as you have registered to this application means you are finding this application more suitable to your business needs. To make it more practical and more relevant to your business model, you need to configure this software in terms of your business requirement. Okay, so as we know, this software is a tailoring business management application software. Tailoring business management is mainly revolves around the custom tailoring, in which your customer you produce or you make the outfits on the body measurements. So it's a service kind of thing. You are providing a stitching service to your customers. While you provide stitching service to your customers, you have to have all those services listed in your system. To get this thing done, we will see how to configure your Darziware application. While we think of configuring Darziware, we have to see first option is to set up the measurement terms. Okay, as you have registered your account with the subscription, you don't need to do all these things. Means these are the basic thing. Company registration, tax master, all these things. I'll tell you how exactly things will gonna happen. First you will go to measurement terms. In this measurement terms form, let me just check. Okay, in this measurement terms form, you will see how to create measurement terms. Because see, basically if you think of thigh can be used in your multiple items. Okay, if you think of length can be used in your multiple items, multiple stitching services. Okay, here you can see length. Okay, this length is useful in your shirt also, trousers also, kurti, patiala, shalwar, anything. Means whatever you are stitching, length is the common item. So in this measurement term screen, you will create only those measurements once. Means if any measurement is repeated in your items, still you will create those measurements once in the application. Now this way you will just save the measurement term. Okay, now what you created was sample length. I'll say SLN. Your measurement term will be created. Once it's created, you will be able to find it here, sample length. I'll show you. It should be somewhere. Yeah, you can see here sample length. Okay, now you have created a measurement term. Similarly, you will have to create all of your measurement terms here, because you are creating a master of measurements. You are not creating item level measurements. Once you create this master of measurements, you will be able to attach these measurement terms with the individual item. Second thing is to have a style gallery created. To get this style gallery created, you can also go from here, item style. Okay, if not, you can go from here, style gallery. Okay, go to style gallery, create in style. This style is basically graphical representation of your outfits. For example, if you say shirt collar, there are a couple of collar options. Okay, you can use from button down, Chinese band, cutaway, Italian semi-spread. So these are the things which you can get printed on your measurement slip also. It will be easy for your workers to identify what your customer chosen to make. Okay, now I'll tell you how to create these styling options. See, here is first button, add style. If you see add style, click on add style. Here just give a head. Head can be something like your pockets, means trouser pockets. So see trouser side pocket. So I'll say SP side pocket, trouser side pockets, save style. Okay, once you create this save style, your trouser side pocket is created. Now click on trouser side pocket. Here it'll ask you to create the option. In this case, I'll show you. Okay, here you can see I'm just choosing some options for your reference. Here are some design options. Okay, so even though I have selected a side pocket, but as I'm not getting the relevant picture, I'll be using something out of it. Okay, picture, and what I'll do is I'll create a picture out of it. So I've created a sample. Now I'll go to application. I'll say jeans back pocket. Naming conventions you can set up. You can charge for the particular design option. Here I'm saying 0. I can select the picture that I have created here. I'm choosing this option and making it default in my trouser. For example, if I have 10-15 options, I can make something default, and accordingly the customer will be able to, means whatever order you book, you don't need to choose the styling always and every time, and it will be always like a default option. If some customer giving you some other options to choose from, you can choose from the list. Once the style is created, what you can do is you can add a number of styles to this item. So this is how you can create the styling section. Now we'll go to stitching services area, wherein you have to create the stitching services. Okay, this is jeans back pocket. What you have created, it will look like here, it will look like this, and you can map this item with your stitching services. Now before we get into stitching services, you also need to create a tax master, because every item is attached with a tax. Okay, here we can see how to create tax. See now, tax 0, tax type is GST. You can see VAT percent 0, SGST, CGST, IGST is also 0. It's tax 0. If I suppose want to create tax 5%, so I'll say tax 5, and I'll commodity code, I'll say not applicable, and transaction taxation type is GST, and tax percent. So you can select VAT also if your business is on VAT. If you are not in Indian market, it should be a GST. If you select GST, you have to say how much tax percentage. You have to say, for example, 5%. Then you have to define this 5% would be 2.5% CGST, 2.5% SGST, and 5% IGST. Now surcharges, if there is any surcharge on and above this 5%, then you have to enter over here, otherwise put 0 and say tax on. So here are the options. If you see tax on, here are the options: stitching pattern, stitching plus pattern, MRP, etc. So here I'm selecting stitching. I'll save this. Okay, so this is how your tax master gonna be created. Once To create one stitching service, you need these three items, and the fourth option is to create the process. Okay, so the fourth option, I'm gonna tell you the process, because every item while getting into manufacturing line, production line, it has to go through the process. If you don't have a process, it will not actually get built. Means you will not be able to build this item if you don't attach any item with the process. Now what is process? For any item, if you think of a shirt, once the customer has booked an order, the shirt has to go to a cutter for cutting, master for cutting. Once that cutting master has cut the item, that item has to go to your tailor for stitching. Okay, so that is a stitching person, receiving person. He'll stitch that item. Once that stitching is done, it may go to the finishing phase, wherein finishing people will give it a card button. Okay, they will give you a buttonholes button, and they'll add some tags or etc. So that is a finishing area. Ironing zone. Next process can be an ironing process, wherein your iron man will iron the shirt, and once that iron is done, that may get into a packaging phase. Once that packaging is done, that will be counted as ready for delivery. So here you have to define the process. Now what is the process? Here you are actually setting up a process name only. For example, ironing. You are not defining this ironing will be before finishing or after finishing, but you are just saying that my production has these many units, these many sections, divisions. Okay, so it's very simple. You have to say here you will write this sample process, then you'll say process description. It can be a packaging unit, then short code you can say SP, sample process, print job card. Now this is one thing that you have to understand. For example, when you book a fresh order, customer gives you a body measurement, then that body measurement is required for your master to cut, for your tailor to stitch, but not for your ironman to iron, and not for your packaging people for packaging, not for your finishing guys for finishing. So basically, when do you need job card? That is one thing that you have to define. If this process demands a job card, you will print it here. If that process defines a job card, you will print it there, not here. Something like that. So I am saying that this job card is required here, or sometimes no. Now is trial applicable? So if think of something, a trial can be possible in certain cases at certain stages. It cannot be, trial cannot be possible say just after cutting, unless it went for stitching. For a partial stitching at least is required to get the trial. Without stitching, only cut fabric cannot get into trial. So that is one thing. Second thing is there can be a process wherein you are procuring some consumable from the market, for example lace, for example some your lining, etc. So if that process is executed, you cannot send that item for your trial. Okay, so that item cannot go for a trial in that case, right? In this case, you have to understand when the trial is required, so accordingly it will get done. Okay, now I'm saving it. So this is how your process is saved. Once your process is saved, what you have to do is you have to get into a stitching item creation, and this stitching item creation you can create in this way. For example, I'll put a name here, sample service. It's an stitching service basically. So I'm saying that stitching of sample item. Okay, HSN code is required for any business, any transaction in the market by the government for the GST purpose, for the taxation identification purpose, and etc. Okay, so here if you want you can put it here if you have. If you don't have, leave it. You can enter 0 or not applicable. Okay, composite charges. Now composite charges is what? See, in fashion designing industry, in ladies tailoring industry, in any other industry, what happen is when you take an order, you just consider that X amount is your fixed stitching charges and X amount is your designing charges. So when you are saying that our production cost of a gown, ladies gown, or a blazer, gents blazer, okay, it's 7,000 rupees. So out of that you have to estimate that your stitching would be 40%, 50% or something. So here we are giving a limited option. So if you say 5,000 is your item cost and you say I will account 50% as a pattern charges and 50% as my tailoring charges, then you have to choose that. If you say 100% is the pattern charges, you will say accounting that. If you say 0% pattern charges, which says that whatever the amount you have given in the composite charge box is completely a stitching amount, not a pattern amount. Okay, designing amount, it's not a designing amount. Then taxation slab, this is what required we created right now in the tax master. Tax 5, we'll select this tax 5. And styling, this is also required as we have created trouser SP. So this is how you, this is what I'm trying to show you, that whatever we created process, we created measurement, we created style, we created taxation. So all these factors are required mandatorily to create an item and bill an item or bill a service. Here let's say I'll say this one and say shirt cuffs. Now I'll save this item. So here in this case particularly, I am creating a service without assigning a measurement terms and without defining the production process line for this particular item. But in this case, once you create this item sample service, you have to go to measurement button, click on this measurement button, and in this measurement button it will allow you to choose the measurement terms required for this item. Now here is one more aspect that you have to consider and remember, that you can set the sequence of the measurement of your master when he takes, for example, when he measures your customer's body. For example, first thing, he measures length. So here you can say sample length, which we created just a few minutes back. Length, sample length is the first measurement term. Then you will say it will take shoulder. Okay, so you will say shoulder. Then you will say sleeve. Okay, sleeve left, sleeve right. If you want it to be a detail in this kind of thing, you can make it that way. Okay, or even you can have just a sleeve. In bespoke tailoring it is required sleeve length, sleeve right. Sometime what happened, due to some physical disability, people have a short length of their left hand or right hand, one of the hands. So in that case it gives a precision of making an outfit. Then once the sleeve is done, you will say chest. He'll take a chest, he'll take a collar. Okay, he'll take a cuff, and then you'll say he'll take a hip. Okay, so these are the measurement terms that you have selected, and this is how the sequence has been decided. And now you click on save button. So these measurement terms for this particular item, means this particular service, is now reserved. Okay, once the measurement is saved, you can go to process and give it a process. For example, here you can see, I'll show you the difference. See, this process button is in green color, this process button is in red color, and this process button is in blue color. I'll tell you the difference. Blue color process means you haven't yet mapped this item to any process. Okay, green color means you have mapped this item to process, but not yet billed for your customer. Okay, billed to customer. You haven't booked any order for this item, and this item has never gone to a workshop for production. So this is how this item will be looked in green. So this means you can change the process at this point, at this stage also. But if it's red color, okay, if it's red color, which means you are not allowed to change the process of this particular item, because this item is already went to workshop. And if it's in workshop, the possibility is there can be n number of items in the workshop, and they might be running in a different cycle. If something must be assigned to some people, some item must be collected back from the workers, ready for delivery, etc., etc. So if you remove the process from this item, those items will become untraceable because of the loss of the sequence. That is the reason we have forbidden this process to be changed once the order is booked and the item is in workshop. So blue color, you can set up a process. Green color, you can edit a process. So here I am telling you that master, which is the cutting process, then tailor is the tailoring process, then you can say quality check, then you can say ironing. These are the process, sample process which we created right back. I'm not using it. Okay, so these are the 4 processes that you can see, but here I'll put only 2. Okay, I'll keep it for your reference. You can have a number of processes, and that item can get into a very precise production line for the to ensure the best product delivered to your customer. Then save it. So once you save this measurements, this process, your item service has been updated, and see the button has been turned to green color. This is how your process is now editable. Still, if you want to change any process from the green color, you can do that. Let me remove the ironing and I'll say save. So this is how you have changed your process. Okay, but once it's turned green to red, uh, you will not be allowed to change the process. Okay, this is how you have created these services. Now let me get you through the worker mapping. See, every item which is a service which is created in your system, booked for a customer, has to go through a production line, and to produce that item you need people, and the people are called as worker, and the worker have a classification of individual process. How many, whatever the process you have created, every process demands worker. So in this case, you will see this job role: master, you need people; for tailoring you need people; for trimming issues, for cutting, for stitching, for quality check, for ironing, for sample process. All processes can have people, set of people, team of people to produce your outfits. Okay, now here I'll say that sample worker. Okay, so you can see that sample, I'll say sample master. Okay, this is sample master. Father or husband name, because it's something, a detailed configurational window. You are allowed to fill in the details from his photo identity card or any other identification document, so that it should have a tight bonding between you and your worker. Okay, so here I'll put something. Mobile number, you are free to put anything, means that has to be a valid number for yourself, benefit of yours itself. Okay, email ID, it's not compulsory. Address, you can say that it's Mumbai. National ID, if you have the Aadhaar card, you can just enter his number, national ID, and this is his Aadhaar card numbers total. Okay, then you have to choose the date of birth. It's an option. These things are actually good for you to have in records, rather keeping it on, like, no, papers or something. Keep it in software. Then choose the process, which process this item will go through. This worker will make. This is a master, so I'll choose master. Then select pay type, if it's salaried or if it is a per piece item. Keep it per piece. Then you can say fixed or commission. Select fixed and then click on save. Okay, so once you create a worker, the second most important aspect of creating a worker is to map them with individual item, which is called as worker rate mapping. In this worker rate mapping, you have to go and then choose worker name from the list, select sample master, then select which item you want to map him to. Say shirt, he'll cut the shirt. Now you have to decide how much amount he will charge for cutting this shirt. Say 120, then urgent amount, it's something you can say 140. Then alteration, you can say alteration, he will charge 30 rupees. Then save these charges. So this is how you will map your worker to individual item. Sample master is mapped to shirt. Then you can also select trouser. So he is the cutter of, let's say, kurta also. Okay, in this you will select 50 rupees, 150 rupees. Then you say urgent amount is 170 rupees. Okay, he is a master actually. Master does not have this kind of figure, so I'll just put 20. Then urgent amount is 30. Then alteration. In cutting there is no alteration, so leave it blank and save the values. So now this worker is is mapped with two items. Okay. Now let's see, worker rate mapping is also done. What have we seen is, we have seen stitching services, we have seen style gallery, we have seen measurement terms, we have seen process, we have seen tax master, we have seen your workers, and then we have seen your worker rate mapping. This is this series, order series. Okay, so let's create an order series. Order series is required on your billing part. When you are generating a bill for your customer, you may need to have some identification code in the series. Let's say financial year. If you say series for your, for example, this is Royal Fashion, so I'll say RF. Then I'll say it's 1819. So I'll say it's 1819 financial year. Okay, so this is how I'll create my series. Okay. Now I'll say series description, start order number, I'll say 1002, and then start invoice number, it should be 10,002, it should be 10,001, and it's 10,001. Then apply to, you can select what type of order, tailoring. Then you'll select order type. If you say regular order, this will be this one. If you say make it default, and save. Series description, I'll put that financial year. I'll save it. I've created a series, so you have seen this. Now I'll create a sample order for you. Okay, sales. The sample order will help you understand how things will happen and what invoice number is generated for which order. See, I have entered the mobile number and it has brought the customer details automatically. You don't need to worry about bringing the customer details. Here is the sale type. I'll select intra-state, within state. I mean to say order type is regular. That is what we have set the series for. Then I'll say sample designer. He is my salesman. And then delivery date. Then item name. I'll choose sample service. Quantity 2. So I said 5,000, so amount should be, and I set the 5% as the tax also, as GST, CGST 2.5, 2.5, so total is 525. I'll add this item. So two stitching sample service I have added. Now I'll say shirt. In this shirt, I'll say one piece. I'll add this item. Okay, so this shirt is tax free and the sample service is taxable. So this is both. This is how both are done. Now this is description. Okay, so what you can do is you can just save and continue. So these items will move for your measurements. Now if you remember sample service, stitching of sample item, what measurement terms we chosen: sample length, shoulder, sleeve left, sleeve right, chest. This is the sequence that we chosen at that point, and here you will have to enter the measurement. Okay, then here you can see trouser SP, which we created as a style option. Here is the back pocket, jeans back pocket I have chosen for the shirt cuff. You can see shirt cuff options also. Okay, I'll click on shirt cuffs. Here I'll choose something. It's just a sample. Then here is catalog option. If customer gives you some outfit as a sample, you can just get into a catalog. If there are no items, you can upload a catalog. You can give a title, blazer, options. Okay, blazer in blue, description sample, popularity level not applicable, choose file. To choose a file means you can just see the options. Means I'm just downloading this picture, save images, laser, save. Now in this I'll go here, choose a file, laser, and this is gonna be my catalog. Okay, I have uploaded this picture. Here you can put measurement remarks, and here you can put styling remarks. And then save and continue. Okay, let me just show you that measurement option. It's saved for this item. For these two items is not saved, but in this item you will see the same measurement items filled by you. Okay, why? Because it's bringing the same measurements, and if you want to make some changes, you can do that changes here. Say this sleeve was not correct for this person, you will correct it here. So it's possible that you have to correct the measurement term. Now you have saved the measurements. Let's go to payment term. Here you can see that measurement is saved for two items. Green, blue color is something which it says pending. Now here you will see the total amount, which says that 10,500 is your total order value, and 250 is your GST total amount, fabric due. If there is any discount, put some discount. If there is no discount, leave this part and save. So once you save it, cash on delivery, even you can say pay cash, and you can say that 5,000 is collected in advance. Pay and print. Now we should see the bill format. I'm sorry that pop-up is not enabled for this site. I'll just check for the pop-up setting. Laptop Darziware, I have allowed the pop-up. If you see this kind of issues, try to find this option and allow. Okay. After this, system will allow you to. Let me go back, and from this here you can see RF 1819, order number 19. Okay. Now click on print. This is the pop-up, and this is your invoice. Okay, this is your invoice. Total 11,000, 5,000 advance, 6,000 balance. This invoice can be redesigned as per your requirement. Okay. Thank you for watching this video. Please do feel free to get in touch with us if you need any further support and clarity if it's not enough for you to understand. For all of your doubts, you can write us an email or contact us on WhatsApp and email and WhatsApp and phone. Thank you.